So we like to spend a lot of time outside, whether that's going to football games or playing sports or spending time with friends and family around something like maybe a fire pit. My kids love to do s'mores and roast marshmallows and that kind of thing. And we spend a fair amount of time in our backyard, so I thought we would build our own fire pit to where we have somewhere to do our own s'mores and marshmallows and that kind of thing. So obviously I've already got the hole dug. The first thing that you want to do is lay out your blocks in an area to where you want this fire pit, figure out where the inside diameter is, dig the hole, and then where the blocks are going to be sitting on the ground, you want to get all the grass out of that area as well. And so that's what I'm doing here. I just spray painted around the bottom edge. I wasn't really concerned with getting paint on the blocks since that was going to sit below the grass and you aren't going to be able to see it. So this is going to work out just fine. Now that I've got all the grass out of the way, I'm just taking a yard rake and just kind of smoothing it out the best I can because I want this to set kind of level. It doesn't have to be exact, but I'm just taking a 4-foot level here and going around and just making sure that we've got a pretty good level surface. Now, in order to let the rainwater drain out, what I've done is I've dug a hole in the middle of this hole in this circle with a set of post hole diggers, and I just go down so far, not anything planned out. Just dug a really deep hole. I'll go back. I'll go here in just a little bit. I'll show you. I'll fill that up with pea gravel. But first, I'm going to go ahead and get the perimeter of the blocks set in place. I mainly dug the hole, yes, to drain rainwater, but I also needed some more dirt and clay to level up these blocks. And so that was a good opportunity to go ahead and get that hole dug. So I'm getting all of this, the blocks laid out, and when I get toward the end, you have to kind of go back and backtrack a little bit because that last block may or may not fit. And so once you get all of it laid out, then you can take the level and then take some of that dirt and just kind of level things up. Now here I'm taking the bag of pea gravel and I'm filling up that hole in the center of the fire pit. And I'm just going to take a rake and just smooth that out the best I can. You just don't want a big hump in the middle. Just get it flat, and see, there you go. You see all the pea gravel there. So the next step, I'm trying to figure out how far from the bottom of the pit it is from there to the bottom of my fire brick I'm going to install. So I've got some crushed paver, and so I'm going to put that in the bottom of the fire pit. It's actually called paver base, and it's just crushed up pavers. And so once you get all of that into the fire pit, just rake it out, and then they make a stamper to where you can actually compact this down really good. But I just take my rake and my feet and stomp on it pretty good, get it nice and packed in there. I ended up using about, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 bags of this stuff to get it to the depth that I needed, because like I said, I dug my hole first and then I could have gone a little more shallow than I actually did. So anyway, that'll help me in the long run with rainwater being below all of this. Here I'm adding in a layer of lava rock. This is going to help me level up some of the fire brick that I'll be installing here in just a little bit. But before I get to that, I want to go ahead and get the second run of blocks on, and this is what I'm doing here. I'm getting everything in place because, like I mentioned, once you get to the last block, that block may or may not fit. So I want to make sure that I've got all of the blocks in place before I start securing them with this construction adhesive. So I know all my blocks fit. I've got them in the places that I want them to go. And so I start gluing down this second row of blocks. I'm using just a construction adhesive that's made for the outdoors and that also bonds to concrete. So this is going to keep everything in place, and hopefully with kids and whoever else having their feet up on the fire pit and sitting on it and that kind of thing, everything will be permanent. So now I can line up these fire brick. Now the top of the fire brick is going to line up even with the second row of blocks. And Actually, it's going to sit just slightly below it because the third row of blocks has got a lip that will sit over the edge on top of the fire brick. And so now you can see where the lava rock's coming in handy to kind of support that fire brick. And so after I get the top row of blocks in place, this is going to be the last row. This is the third row. But after this row is in place, then I can go in on the inside where the fire brick is and start lining those things up with the bottom edge of that top tier. And I'm not real sure what the glue is going to do to these fire bricks, but I'm going to put a little bit of this glue on the back side of the fire brick to hold them in place. A lot of the tutorials will tell you to put the lava rocks in to hold the fire bricks in place, but I just find that it looks better when they're all secure and they don't move and all the lines line up, make it look neat. So after all that's glued in, I'll go ahead and add in a couple more bags of lava rock, and this is just to give it some depth and to give it a nice decorative look and feel. Plus, you don't need it to be too deep, and so this will just kind of tie it all together. If you enjoy this project, I encourage you to check out the link in the description, which will take you over to our website, and you can find more details there on how I did things and also where I got the materials for this project. And while you're there at the website, please sign up for our newsletter so you can stay in the loop on current projects that we're working on. And we also have plans there, so check those out while you're there. And as always, thanks for watching.